Hello everybody. What day is it today? The 9th. It's the 9th of December, and I'm recording this vlog from Blue Jay's house. Blue Jay let me borrow her setup, so like this framing is basically the same framing you'd see on her stream, and I'm just hanging out while she is getting ready, and then we're gonna go for a brief walk to start our day. It's the Pacific Northwest out there today. It's raining and it's kind of cold, but this is what I get for living in this part of the country. Well, actually, I don't live in this part of the country. This is America. That's weird. I wonder sometimes. I travel to America enough that the border guards. So basically, I travel between America and Canada in two ways. I either go through Vancouver Airport, right? So I take a cab because Vancouver doesn't have Uber or Lyft or anything. Do you not have Uber or Lyft where you live? Most places in America, I think, do by now, and I think Montreal and Toronto both do, but Vancouver has had a long struggle with car share services. Anyway, I get on a cab and I go to the airport and I go through customs there, American Customs, and I pretty much have seen everybody that works at YVR Customs. Like, I pretty much recognize them, and I'm fairly easy to pick out, so they recognize me too, so that's a bit weird. Or I drive across the border, and when I drive across the border, there's two different ways to get into Washington from BC, and they're right next to each other. There's Peace Arch, which is the big fancy, like, welcome to America one that I usually take. And then there's the other one, and I can never remember what that one is called. It has like a number. It's like SR 543, which sounds like a planet that you would go to with some space marines, and you would find aliens, and then they would kill you. But it's not that, it's a border crossing. For the Peace Arch, again, same thing. Like, I pretty much recognize all of the people that work there, which is kind of funny. I don't know. I feel weird about that, where, like, you know, I go back and forth regularly enough that now that when I recognize somebody, they're just like, hey, and their job is to be very stern and authoritative and be like, like, you're coming into America, you could be a criminal, or you're going back to Canada, you could be bringing, I don't know, American pop culture with you into Canada to infect it with your Britney Spears and your guns, I guess. I've seen them enough that we all recognize each other. I'm like, I know this guy. This is Officer Chad. And Officer Chad, he's like, I know this kid. This is Adam Coble. I saw him a week ago. And they'll do things like ask you, like, when was the last time you were in America? And I'm like, Chad, honey, Chad, you know the answer to this. We saw each other last week. Don't act like you don't know me, Chad. So it's a sort of a surreal experience, but Seattle is, like, in a lot of ways kind of like a second home. I figure I probably spend like a month and a half, maybe 2 full months out of the year here in Seattle, like enough that I'm not a resident because I don't own anything, I don't pay rent or whatever, but I have so many friends that live in Seattle, and I come to so many conventions, and I fly to conventions from here a lot of the time, that I feel like the trip, I don't know, it's like second nature at this point, which is nice. I find it totally chill just driving back and forth. Gives me a chance to think. Sort of a liminal space. Like, it's like being in an airport. Like, you know when you get to an airport and you go through security and you sit down and you're like, all right, I've got an hour before my flight. Or if you're like me, I've got 2 hours before my flight because I'm an obsessive early arriver. And so you get there and you're like, well, I'm not home anymore. I'm not in Vancouver. I'm not in Canada. But I'm also not where I'm going yet, right? Like, I'm not in Indianapolis or Philadelphia or Boston or New York or wherever. Like, I'm in this nowhere place. And I feel like driving from Vancouver to Seattle is similar in that once I get into my car and I start going, I'm in the nowhere place. And it's kind of a cool liminal state to be in, because you're not really, I don't feel like I have to attend to either place. Like, I'm not where I need to go yet, and I'm not at home working on home stuff. So I can just kind of spend the 3 hours, like, relaxing and thinking and letting my brain wander. And I've done the drive enough times that it feels, like, natural, right? That I don't have to concentrate really hard on, like, okay, when am I going to turn? Where am I going to go? It's pretty much just a long bomb from Vancouver to Seattle. So it's, like, sort of meditative in a weird way, in this very modern kind of commuter kind of way. The plan for the rest of the day, after we go for our little walk in the rain to run some errands, the plan is, I think, to spend the afternoon doing some photos. I've been doing a lot of photography for Blue Jay's Patreon lately. We've been taking pictures of her and she's been posting them on Patreon, and it's been really successful. People have been really supportive and joining her Patreon, which is nice. Like, I've said a bunch of times that I don't like the idea of doing my photography for, like, work, right? I like the idea of displaying it. I like the idea of posting it. I like the act of taking photos and posting them on the internet for people to look at, and I like it when people comment and everything, but it's not a job. I don't want to get paid for it. I don't want it to be a big, like, revenue earner. I never want to be like a wedding photographer or whatever. I just like taking pictures, like capturing moments. So we're going to do that later, and probably those photos will end up on Blue Jay's Patreon, maybe a few of them on Instagram or whatever, but it's a nice way to spend a rainy afternoon. It's over here. I brought my flash, and Blue Jay's got her streaming lights, and so we got some gear that we're gonna use, and yeah, and I think we'll spend a couple of hours doing that, and then the end of the day we are going with Holly to a medieval, like a Yule feast. I don't really have like a full medieval getup. You notice I've been wearing the same sweatshirt for like 3 days, but I am gonna change. I brought my cloak and I brought my big witch hat, so I'll at least look gothy and weird, if not medieval. I have no idea what to expect. Probably some, like, hurdy-gurdying. I hope you've been enjoying Vlogmas. We're about a third of the way through now, and I'm finding myself in the groove. I'm finding that it's pretty easy to, like, spend an hour throwing together a video, and having put things together throughout the day, assemble all that stuff into something that you can enjoy. I hope you've liked kind of peeking into the stuff that I get up to when I'm not on stream or I'm not in a more produced video. It's certainly been fun for me. So thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go about my day, and we'll check in with you later this evening. Little Spider-Man in the background.
Yes!
Don't fall over.
I'm just excited about Spider-Man.
Yeah, okay, fair. Fair. Okay, yeah, that's good. Can you turn, actually, yeah, turn your head like as square on to me as you can. Yeah, there you go, square your shoulders. I just want to check the shadows on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, these are good.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay, cool. There we go. Cool. Yeah, these are turning out good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. Turn your head back that way. Yeah, your hair looks really good right now. Cool. Hey, over here. Oh yeah, that's good. Getting close is gonna be weird. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. Look, it's Blue Jay. Blue Jay. Blue Jay. Blue Jay. So this is all the stuff that I brought to take pictures of Blue Jay with. This is my speed light, and it shoots through this umbrella. We get some nice diffuse light on the chair, and this is where we shot. So we had some natural light from the window, and then this business, and then this is all the other shit that I brought. So there's my Pentax, big old film camera, my light meter. We got 2 lenses, my tripod, my Sony, and I brought an 85mm and a 50mm. And then this little guy is my Leica. That's the flash trigger on top. And then that's a Contax T2. And I've said this 100 times, but I'll go into more detail about these in my vlog about cameras. Of course, you can't take pictures without a model. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah,
a little cold.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like taking pictures with you.
I like taking pictures with you.
Where can people find those pictures, Blue Jay?
They'll be up on my Patreon at patreon.com/BlueJ712.
Bam.
Boom.
We just finished shooting a bunch of photos for Blue Jay, and now I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna drink this beer, and I'm gonna edit the photos in Lightroom and see what we come out with. I like this part. It's fun. And maybe you've seen me do Lightroom streams like once in a blue moon, but it's really cool to be able to sit down and like focus on the photos and go through one at a time and kind of pick the ones that I like the best. In the moment of taking a photograph, you're so like in the flow of the thing, you kind of don't think about the photo. Like I take it, the shutter goes, and then I'm immediately thinking about framing up the next photo. But in Lightroom, when I'm sitting down and editing, and I feel like this is the same for film photos back when the Lightroom, when it was a physical place, you were sitting down, you were staring at, the light box and going over your contact sheet with the little jeweler's loop and like picking out photos and adjusting the contrast for your prints. That's what it feels like. It's giving very detailed moment-to-moment attention to a very specific piece of art. It's quite cool. I really like it. So I'm gonna get into the Zen state. I'm gonna look through these photos and we're gonna find the good ones, and then I'm gonna send them over to Blue Jay. Blue Jay's gonna put them on the internet. Yeah, that. All the photos are done, my editing is complete, and rather than try to get whatever goes on tonight, like the Yule feast and stuff, into this vlog, I'm gonna end it here, and we'll just make this the photo taking vlog, and then if I get anything tonight, I'll include it in tomorrow's vlog. That's it. Cool. I'm gonna edit this up, and I will see you on YouTube, and I'll see you for the next one tomorrow. Hey, y'all.